Hey, what's up guys? Today we're checking out another HG GQuuuuuX kit here. This is the Rickdom, specifically the Gaia/Ortega's version, basically in the original kind of Dom purple colors for this one. Really cool. I love how this has a third leg for a backpack. It's a really interesting take on the design. Really looking forward to checking this one out. And I love that it's in this big box too, so that way we get this huge box art there on the front to appreciate. I'm a fan, I really like it, and yeah, the kit should be a lot of fun. Let's go ahead and check it out here for today's video. All right, so yeah, and that's one thing that I think has been a constant for this line is that the entirety of the line has just had fantastic box art here. You can see the unit there in the back with the bazooka, and this one right up here in front with that really cool lighting effect there for the mono eye, and all the cool like spark effects and everything going on with the legs as it's zooming along. So really cool box art on the front. On the ends of the box here, we've got a vertical box art here on one side and a horizontal box art on the other side. This release being the 9th in the GQuuuuuX line. And then right here on the bottom of the box, we got a bunch more images of the kit in different poses, showing off the different weaponry. Obviously, it's got its signature bazooka and a beam saber. There you can see the backpack and the feet lined up to make this huge thrust there out the back. So you can see a bunch of different images showing off the different gimmicks, and Articulation here also has these like wire guided hooks there that shoot out of the hand. You can see all of the accessories included right there. On the other side of the box, we've got some more information about the story in Japanese and in English, and then front and rear images of the built and painted kit there. So there you go. Let's go ahead and pop the top here on this if I can. There we go. All right off the bat, I can see we are gonna have a few stickers here. Not too bad, certainly a smaller sticker sheet than a lot of the other kits that I've seen in the line so far. So you have a couple of metallic ones there in red and kind of silver, and then some little white accent bits to go around on that. And that's pretty much it, so pretty minimal. Let's see what else is inside. We've got our instruction manual here as well. At the bottom has some more information there in Japanese and English about the Rickdom and Gaia and Ortega there, as well as some nice illustrations. They're illustrations of the pilots anyway, and then another image like we saw on the outside of the box, just kind of pointing out the difference between the two. Basically, Gaia's has the sword, the heat saber, and Ortega's does not, pretty much. I guess that's it. The backside of the manual has more info about some of the different weapons and features here. That's all in Japanese and in English. Same with the paint guide right there. That's also in Japanese and in English, so very convenient. The inside page here has the parts list there in full color, and then the first two pages of construction are also going to be here in full color as well. And once again, it does tell you which runners are required for each section of the build. It also shows you the colors of the runners too. After the first couple pages, the rest of the construction is just going to be here in black and white until the very end there, where it's just talking about how to use the wire guided gimmicks there out of the hands. And that's pretty much it. One more bit that we do have in here before we get into the runners is the little bit of yellow wire. One thing that I wish that Bandai would do, so many times I've almost thrown out this wire just leaving it in the bag or not noticing it in the bag. So just make sure that you guys check your bags carefully for any kits that do have like little wire effects in there, because I wish that Bandai would put these in like a separate little like colored bag just so that they're very obvious and so that you don't accidentally throw them out. If any of you guys have ever thrown one of these out by accident, let me know in the comments, because I certainly have, and certainly almost do every time. So okay, we're straight on into the runners then. We have SB18 for our kind of heat saber effect part here, or just the heat saber blade basically here in green, and this is in that like kind of softer type plastic though. This runner is actually from 2015. I had to think back that it was familiar, but what kit was this from? If I remember correctly, this was from an HG, the Origins kit. I don't remember exactly which one, but it's the prototype Dom or something like that that this originally came with. So pretty cool to see this one used again. The A runner is going to be here in 4 colors. You have a dark navy blue, a dark purple, one part up there in like a kind of clear metallic pink there for the mono eye, and then some red over here on the side. Runner B is also in 3 colors here for this one. So our main dark purple color there, a lighter purple color up here at the top, and then a very dark purple, like very dark grayish purple for a few parts there at the bottom as well. Runners C1 and a C2 here are going to be overlapped at the center. Here parts in dark gray for what looks to be like mostly the joint and mechanical type parts there. Runner D1 and then D2 is a copy of this half of the runner here, basically for all of the parts to make our 2 legs, and you only have parts for 2 thighs and then like kind of your 3rd leg backpack parts there. So really cool to see that these parts are one big solid piece there. You are not going to have any seam line on those, which is good. So that's very nice. And then similarly, runners E1 and E2 basically going to be parts for the legs, as you have basically like kind of 3 sets of these parts. But these runners are in this kind of metallic silver, kind of dark metallic silver gunmetal kind of color there. Very nice. Runners F1 and F2, some more parts of the same parts for the shoulders and leg parts here in what is essentially just kind of dark black basically there. Yeah. Lastly, runner G here in gray is going to be all the parts for the bazooka, and I like how big this is. I was not expecting it to be quite this large, so that's going to be really cool. That's it for the runners. Let's go ahead and get it built up and we'll check it out. Alright guys, so here it is all built up, and I love the 3rd leg aspect there on the back for the backpack, and just the boosters in general. It's got those really cool boosters like out the side of the back skirt section as well, and a lot of really cool aspects of the design. So as far as just like a retake on the design of the Dom or the Rick Dom, I do really like this one. A lot of really cool aspects of it, and I have to say probably one of my favorite designs from the series so far, at least the ones that we're getting out as model kits. And as you can see on there, I did go ahead and put the stickers on. It's just a couple of little lining stickers here and there. But I do think that they do a good job of adding a few little white accents in there just to kind of break it up a little bit. Overall, super cool design. It looks great. Let's go ahead and take a look at our included accessories. And first of all, just as our hand option parts go, we've got these 2 regular holding hands here, and then we do have a 3rd option, giving us our usual Dom, Rick Dom style open hand here for the left side only, unfortunately. But as you can see, a lot of really nice detail on there for an HG hand. I mean, there's certainly a ton of detail. And then for the left side exclusively, you have 2 different options for the hand cover. One that has the holes in there, and then one that does not. Obviously, the one that has the holes built into it, that's going to be for our 2 electromagnetic Haken here, which you have that 1 wire which you can cut to 2 equal lengths. You could also, I think it'd be cool to cut it at like uneven lengths as well, but these will just plug into those holes in the hands, and the bits at the end are not very heavy and the wire is relatively short, so it should be able to hold those up without too much issue of those like shooting out of the hand there like that, without having to use any other kind of stand or anything, which is great. So obviously if you had a longer wire, it might start to droop or something, but I feel like at this length then nothing's going to be drooping, so no issues with that. That's good. We've got our 2 heat sabers, both of which just have this green blade, and it really just kind of depends on which version of it you're making. So you have the space to put both up here on the backpack. So you can see there's a little tab in the handle there, and that will plug into this bit that's kind of attached on the top of the torso, just kind of sticking off to the side there a little bit. So for Gaia's Rick Dom, you're meant to attach the one. For Ortega's Rick Dom, you're not actually meant to attach it at all, but you do have the space and you have 2 of them, so you could attach them both onto there as well. Just kind of depends on if you want to make like a canonical version or if you just want to have them both attached onto there, which I think does look pretty cool. You have them both, you might as well attach them both on there. And then lastly, of course, we have the giant bazooka, and it is in fact very giant, quite large here compared to the mobile suit. You can see it's taller than the mobile suit itself, so it is going to be very big. Just in case anybody was wondering for like kit bashing purposes or something, you can see it comes out to about 6.5 inches or 16.5 centimeters there in length. This, but it's all molded in one color. The main handle here will be able to move up and down like that, and the secondary handle on the front moves side to side. The camera up here on the top, that's just fixed in position. And even though we have a sticker sheet and you can see the camera appears blue in the manual, there isn't a sticker for that camera bit, although that is a separate part, which is interesting. So that little camera bit is a separate little gray piece, so that will make it easier to paint later on, although once you stick it in there, it's going to be very difficult to get out. I'll probably end up having to drill that out from the back or something. Will probably be the only way to get that part out of there now, but it is a separate part, so for painting purposes, that is better. That's nice. You'll be able to paint that and then just pop it in there. But on that note, as far as the seam lines go, this front part is a separate part, but then the rest of the body is just 2 halves, so you will have this long seam line going down the length of the body of the bazooka there. So there's quite a lot of seam to remove on this there, unfortunately. And then I do find it odd not having like kind of like a nozzle here at the back, kind of, which was kind of typical what we see on a bazooka type of weapon like this. So that is definitely something that I think ultimately I would add on there as like a custom part if I was going to be working on painting this, just adding like some scrap like large size thruster nozzle part here like on the back, just to kind of make it look more usual like a bazooka anyway. But when not in use, there's nowhere that this can attach onto the kit, so it's either just held in the hand or not at all. Obviously there's kind of like, where would you put this on the back? The back's kind of very heavily taken over here by all of this stuff going on. So that's it for our accessories. Let's just talk a little bit more about the kit here. One cool thing to know about the head is that you actually have a bit of articulation here, which is kind of more than you can say about a lot of different DOM kits. You're actually able to move that side to side there a little bit up and down. As you can see, you can actually have like the head is on a ball joint, and then that purple part that is attached to also is able to move up a little bit there like that. And then the mono eye as well. Similar to the camera for the bazooka, the mono eye, it's a clear pink piece that fits inside of a gray piece there. So that'll make it really easy for painting or doing whatever you want to do with that as just a separate bit. So that clear pink piece is inside there. And then we can adjust the angle of this as well. You can kind of move it around, and using like tweezers or something might be a good idea. Yeah, definitely going to be a lot easier to do with tweezers. But anyway, like I said, you can adjust it up, down, left, right. So that's pretty cool. You got the sticker here at the front of the chest, and then otherwise these little white stickers for around these like lining bits here on the skirt. As I mentioned, you actually have a pretty decent range of articulation here in the midsection as well. You can see basically like this middle purple section and like the top of the torso, there's like joints in between those. So we have some nice movement there, side to side, front and back. The shoulders as well have a pretty nice joint in that this shoulder arm joint can like kind of pull out from the torso a little bit, and you can get an extended range forward, a little bit back there, but in particular forward there of the shoulder, which is really nice. Also the fact that this black piece is one solid piece, so there's no seam line on that, that's good as well. I like the little purple fin there at the top too. That's a separate piece, that's nice. And of course the red for the inner piece as well. So really nice color separation here with those parts. Ultimately bringing that shoulder joint out a bit. You can't bring the arm up too much more than that, but it's a decent amount there. Otherwise the arm is going to work pretty normally. We have a rotation at the top of the bicep, and then kind of technically a double joint here in the elbow if you have like one joint there and then a lower joint. But even with that double joint, you're really only getting about 90 degrees there at the elbow. And then again, you can see a seam line here on the back side of this part here. On the front side, there's another one kind of on that inner piece, that darker blue piece inside there. The main like front of the forearm here is covered up by this solid piece, but a little bit of a seam inside there as well. This skirt armor is interesting also with those little red camera bits are also stickers. I forgot to mention, but obviously little stickers there for those as well. These kind of front skirts, it's like attached to the front, but then obviously wraps around the side. These are attached via ball joint, so you can kind of adjust the angle of those as needed. If you want to have like the leg like way out to the side or something like that, you can move that out of the way. Obviously moving it to the front, it'll kind of fit into that gap there. Otherwise the hip articulation is going to be pretty standard. We do have rotation a little bit there at the top of the hip. Again, a seam line here on the thigh there. Unfortunately, when you bring up the leg and bend the knee, a couple of things happen. So you do have a nice joint there at the knee, which gives you a pretty far bend. And then I want to point out to you guys, there's this part here at the back, this little part right here, that when you bend the knee, that tucks down inside of there, which is pretty cool. So this part here at the front of the knee doesn't bend with the knee joint at all. That's just fixed in place. Another little sticker on there too, by the way. And then the fact that this whole like bell bottom section here, it's two pieces, but it's an inner piece and an outer piece, but so there's no seam line on that. It's just one solid shell piece and then another piece that, like I said, goes on the inside, and no seams on that. So that's really cool. No seams on this knee armor here as well, so that's all good and well. And the foot is pretty unique as well. You have a ball joint and then a second joint in there, so you're able to kind of pull that out a little bit and adjust the angle side to side, front and back here. And then we do have separate parts for the front and the back half of the foot. The back half will move independently and kind of separate that out like that. And then up underneath, a ton of really cool detail here, which is the same detail you can see in the backpack. These parts are the same, and each set of thruster bells are able to be adjusted, so you can rotate these a little bit there, front and back, and the same thing for these. There's not as much room for them to run, and these are connected, but I think you could clip them apart on the inside in order to separate them if you wanted to. So if you wanted like the left side and the right side to move separately, you could do that just by clipping them in the middle of there. But really cool detail there for the bottom of the feet, which brings us back around to the backpack. And like I said, it's the same leg, just basically where it just cuts off at the knee, and instead of going into the thigh, it just goes into this part here, which is not actually on the back. It's actually attached onto the back side of the waist. So we don't have a backpack or anywhere to attach a backpack. This is kind of where it would go, but some really cool detail there as well. I do like these kind of bars there. That detail there's pretty cool. So this is actually attached onto the back of the waist section that can go up and down, and then otherwise the leg is going to work exactly the same. The parts are exactly the same as what you have on the legs. I do like these added sections here. As I mentioned, these are also attached onto like the back kind of side of the waist section here as well, just kind of additional booster parts there. So as we're taking a look at the kit here in a few different poses now, one thing that I will definitely say that with this kit in particular, because you have so much great detail, I mean, you can see it there in the backpack, but with you having like all those thruster bells underneath the feet and everything as well, this is a kit that you certainly are going to want to have up on an action base and be able to show off because the kit looks good like from the front and from any other kind of angle as well. I think it's a really cool design, as I said, just in my opinion. But I think one of the most cool aspects of this design is seeing it from the back, kind of seeing it from the bottom, seeing those like the two legs and the backpack, making like your third leg here for all of those thruster bells. Kind of reminds me a bit of like the RG Zeong when that kit came out. I thought it was a kit that you just kind of really have to show off the underside of it, just because that's where you have all this really cool like mechanical detail there with all the thrusters and everything. And so similar thing with this kit as well. But like I said, it does look good from the front, from the top, from other angles as well. You have a lot of really cool color separation on there, that nice color separated bit, even on like on the chest, you have that darker blue set into the gray on the front of the chest, and just like multiple shades of purple going on and everything. It looks really good. There are definitely a few seam lines on there that are going to be kind of tricky, I think, and that has been something that we've seen with this line, you know, from the start. A lot of the kits in this line have also suffered from that, where you have these really cool, very intricate designs, but the downside of that is that they take a lot of detail painting to get in all the little tiny little color details everywhere, and then that makes for some pretty tricky seam lines in there as well. So if you are wanting to like put in the work and do all the painting and everything on these, they are going to take a little bit more work. That said, just straight out of the box, if you aren't wanting to do all that, you just want to have a really cool looking kit just straight out of the box, they do look really nice. A little bit of panel lining and some top coat, maybe some additional decals and stuff on there as well would look really nice, and I think you'd have a really good looking kit, even if you aren't wanting to go through all the hassle of doing all the seam removal and painting and all that, like I said. But so really nice kits in that sense, that, you know, whether you want to do a little or you don't want to do a lot, they're going to look good either way. But as I said earlier, I just really like this kind of take on reworking the Dom's design. I think adding a third leg onto the back as like the main kind of thrust, other than the feet themselves, I think for like the back, I think was definitely a really cool, very creative addition here to the design for this version of it. But let me know what you guys think down in the comment section. I also think that just as far as like the accessories go, I mean, obviously it would have been great if it would have included a stand, but I would definitely recommend getting a stand for this. Having the heat sabers and the bazooka, that's all pretty standard. Having the addition of the wires, the electromagnetic Haken there in the hand, does give you another kind of very dynamic accessory to use with this as well. It certainly looks really cool posed up. I do love the Dom's bazooka. I like the Rakuten bazooka of the original Dom's, probably like one of my favorite weapons. The beam bazooka of the Rick Dom, and then this giant bazooka here that we have with this one. All good stuff. I really like it. So this one does have a really cool design to the weapon. Again, it's going to take some work on that seam, but the weapon design is really cool. I like it a lot. So let me know your guys' thoughts down in the comment section. What do you think about this kit? That's going to do it for this review. If you guys are interested in this kit or anything else, Gunpla or anything else, Bandai, model kits, paints, tools, supplies, all that good stuff, you can check out the link in the video description to USA Gundam Store. Got a lot of great stuff on there for you, so check all that out. And as always, guys, just thanks so much for your support, leaving a like, making sure that you're subscribed. I really appreciate it. Until next time, I hope you're having a good day. See y'all later. Bye, guys.